End of Life, issue 1, Kyle Stark's writing with Steve Pugh on the art. So this is our next issue 1 from Vertigo. And this is following a criminal who's pissed off the organized crime sort of like system that he works in, because it's basically a bunch of people who all have like animal code names, and he has kind of made a bit of a boo-boo by helping a group steal from one of them, which technically means that he's betrayed them. And now there's like a almost John Wick-esque, like all the hitmen in the country have got a contract for your head now kind of story. That's what it's doing. That's the basic premise. So obviously this is a completely fresh thing. This is not based on a DC character or anything like that. This is a completely just new thing. Matt, what was your vibe or your feeling for End of Life?
This is weird. I don't know if you ever went back and read more of Peacemaker Tries Hard, which is that team.
I did not.
That did this. Yeah, so I did, and it's this thing. I like the story, so I just want to get that out there. However, the edgelord kind of humor that is coming through this, through Starks, which I feel is just his style, not a fan of the delivery. So it's a very mixed thing here, because the story of the guy that screwed up, who's got this kind of, he was reminding me of any Ryan Reynolds character in any movie, right? This fast talking kind of an idiot, got himself in over his water. He has to go home and deal with like his dad and all those issues while being chased by this group that he screwed over by accident. I like all that type of stuff. A lot of the dialogue and a lot of the set dressing with where I just was like, this is cringe inducing, you know? So it's definitely a weird one.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the humor either. I found I found it to be kind of crass. There's right at the very end, there's like a sort of villain that's introduced who basically starts threatening to rape a grandmother, and it's like just super like edgy and dark, and it just feels very forced. There's even, but I think this is the other problem though, is the humor, and this is part of the humor is part of the reason for this, but I don't think it's the only reason. Is that I find the main character very unlikable, and I don't really find myself rooting for him. And if it feels like he's happy to kill a bunch of innocent like guards to a vault at the start of the issue, so it's like, okay, so he's not a good person. He's not doing any of this for good reasons, and I find him annoying from his sense of humor. So I don't know. I was like, I don't really like him very much. And to be honest, I don't think the story is all that unique or original either, because ultimately, like I say, it's a little bit John Wicky with the hitmen all coming after him. But the idea that he goes back to his dad and his dad hates his guts and they've not seen each other in a long time, it feels like we're doing a lot of tropes that I've seen in a number of different types of like action movies or whatever. Right. You know,
this was Peacemaker. Right? That first part, him going back to his dad, and his dad's like, you know what you did, type stuff. That was Christopher Smith on the show. So these are things that are well tread. So if you're gonna tread that, make it interesting and make it your own. And I just feel like what Kyle Starks finds interesting in his own isn't something that I'm interested in. Yeah.
Because on the very first page, like he's talking to this lady who also works at the thing, right? The organization. And she's like, why would I help you? You tried to have sex with my sister. And he's like, hey, she had that nice dress on. And she's like, yeah, and you were my guest at her wedding. And I'm like, I can see that, like, I can see what they're going for here, right? To try and make it, they want him to be the lovable rogue who's up to all these no good things, but it's just not clicking. He's coming off a lot more of a dickhead, to be honest.
Like, if they're trying to make us root for the menagerie, then mission accomplished. Because, like, I want to know who all these animal people are, and how they're going to take him out by the end of this issue.
It's like they took the worst qualities of Constantine and, like, the edgy humor of, I don't know, like, it's weird.
So when The Boys came out, I went back and tried to read one of the comics. And it's very much of this. This is like a Garth Ennis shock value. And that stuff just doesn't hit for me. The reason why I feel like The Boys TV show has connected with so many people is it touches on that, but it doesn't make it its full thing, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've not read a lot of Garth Ennis. I will say what I did read of Preacher was pretty good still. Like, it was much better than this. So I'm not sure if I'm necessarily going to side with the comparison 100% there, but yeah, like, because you can have like an edgy like attitude and like do stuff if there's like if it feels like there's a point to it, but there's nothing in this that feels like it's you know, I just don't really see what the point is yet, or feel the purpose of it, because I like I said, it feels like it's going through a bunch of tropes, and it's like, oh, they wear animal masks and they have animal code names, and he realizes they're Robin from the Raven, which is, you know, one of the characters, and, you know, then the lady he's talking to on the phone freaks out and is like, oh, you idiot, you're going to be, you know, menagerie enemy #1 now, because so he gets a bus to where his dad lives, and we get some scenes with his dad, and all the rest of it. The plot that sets up future stuff is that when he arrives in town, he stops two thieves from robbing the store. Which I guess is meant to be it's maybe the likable part of his character, is that he intervenes here. And then all the stuff with the dad happens, where the dad like even says he wants to kill him. There's some allusions to his backstory, where he had like a childhood friend here who's now the hospice nurse for his dad because his dad's dying of cancer. And then at the very end of the issue, it reveals that the two goons that he beat up at the gas station have like a gang leader who's pissed that someone interfered with their turf. So that's the villain that's going to maybe be a problem next issue. Yeah.
So when he gets to his hometown, which is called Pluto, there was a amusement park there that was based off the comic strip. And apparently this comic strip creator got canceled for being like a white supremacist type, and is now, it seems like, is leading all these goons in this town. And that was where the other stuff was like, we're putting a hat on a hat here, you know. So yeah, but there were parts that I did genuinely enjoy, like with the action and whatnot. Like, I felt like that was well paced, and I feel like Pugh's art is really solid. It's very hard to care about the story at this point.
Yeah, I don't mind the premise of like the crazy supremacist in the theme park is the villain. Like, that's fine to me, as long, but it's just all of the dialogue, and like, I don't like the characters very much. Like, maybe because the dad doesn't seem very likable either. Maybe the childhood friend seems like the most normal human being out of everyone when she shows up, but you only get like a page or two of her. You don't get much to go on, really. I just like, obviously there's a fine line, and there is a great skill in writing an anti-hero or a character who, you know, isn't like obviously likable but is still fun to read or watch, and you can sort of root for them anyway. I really wasn't getting that from this. I actively found myself like disliking this character and disliking what I was reading in this as I was going. So, you know, I think it's quite obvious that neither one of us has any interest in reading any more of this.
No, I'm all right. I even remember when it got announced, we were going through and we're like, that one might be okay, but I'm not that excited for it. And so now I'm a little bit worried through two of these new Vertigo books. You know, Bleeding Hearts was fine.
Matt, I don't see why you should feel worried though, because they're all just completely different books by completely different people. There's no reason to think this.
True.
You know, this doesn't mean anything for the third or fourth or fifth Vertigo book announced.
Yes, but also now I'm 0 for 2, I feel like, and I'm just kind of like, I'm dreading now when it's coming to read. Now, that said, the next one that's coming out is that Ezra Kane book by that Texas Blood, which I've enjoyed that team, so I'm a less hesitant.
It's just,
but yeah,
it's just happenstance and unfortunate that the first two that came out were both like, I mean, Bleeding Hearts was okay, it was fine, like, it wasn't a bad book. I just didn't like it that much. This I actually dislike, and obviously the art's pretty good. Like, Steve Pugh is a good artist, right? Let's get that out of the way, because like, you know, the expressions are good. When there's not too much dialogue and it's allowed to just be visual, it works better than it otherwise would. But you know, there's a lot of detail. I can't really fault that, right? You know, Pugh's very good at the facial expressions and the performances and all that stuff. So you know, good on that. But do not like the writing here.
Yes.
So
I was like, the action sequence in the convenience store, right in the gas station, where he takes the guy and twists the wrist and whatever, like all of that, the way that those panels come about, everything is very dynamic and stuff. So like you said, when it's not filled with the dialogue that I hate. It was making me cringe.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. Like, I feel like a silent issue would be awesome, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, with these Vertigo issue ones being a little bit longer, having 10 extra pages or whatever it is, when I wasn't liking this one, that 10 extra pages, really, I felt it. Like, I was like, oh man, this still isn't over. I'm still reading this. Oh no. But yeah, so yeah, a bit of a dud for me. Did not like this character, did not like the dialogue. And the story is just kind of whatever. Like, the actual like content of what the story is just kind of a bit generic to me, and then which would be fine if I was enjoying the characters and like everything else about it, but the art is good, so I mean, if that's worthwhile for you, then maybe. And I assume some people do like this guy's writing, but I did not jive with this at all. Try
so far,
hard.
the two things that I've read, yes,
try hard is the phrase I would use for it. Yes,
the two things I've read from him now, I just have not connected. So, yeah.
Yep. I get why he was given Peacemaker though. Like, I get why in theory that would be a good fit. Although I still think that, like, I still don't think it would work for me. But I get why some people would click with that combination. So anyway, what are you giving End of Life issue 1?
I'm gonna give this a 4.5.
Yeah, I'm going with a straight 4, baby. Not for me, but hey, that's 2 Vertigo books down, and 2 that we have no interest in continuing. But hey, I'm sure 1 or 2 of them will hit. That's all I need. Give me 1 or 2 that I'm really excited to read, and we'll be fine.